the look, the whole setup here. These are the Frankly Fabulous tapes. The light is looking nice here on Club Fabulous. Welcome to Club Fabulous. It's Frankly Fabulous time. It's Frankly Fabulous University. Welcome. We're going to be, well, what I wanted to talk about, I guess, first and foremost was, I don't know. I've been going for these walks in the West Village. I hate the name West Village. It sounds so Ivory Coast and like yuppie to me. Which is what it is, but like, God. I like Greenwich Village. I'm going to call it Greenwich Village. This is my life and loves in Greenwich Village. So I've been sort of sauntering about through the village as one does. It's the best thing to do in New York City. And it's a husk of what it once was. I mean, it's just totally shelled out. And it's all these weird brands that I don't even know what they are, intermixed. You'll see it in the pictures. You see these weird storefronts that are like, I don't even know what the fuck these shops are. They're all vague. You'd think it'd be Versace, Gucci. It's not even that. It's just like, I don't know, it's just money laundering schemes. I'm not sure. So I walked through the West Village and, well, as we were talking about, you know, I sort of have my, you know, I'm in Manhattan, and I have my sort of street clothes, my baggy trousers, my form-fitting kind of denim jacket. So I'm like about to, you know, go outside. I haven't been out. I didn't really go out at all last week. I was sort of very cocooned. I'm getting my vaccine. I've got my vaccine scheduled for next Monday. So I'm counting the days. It cannot come soon enough. I mean, New York, you know, everybody wants it. It's the hot item of the season. The sooner you get it, the sooner you're. So I got the Johnson & Johnson, the one shot. So I'm going in Monday and just one and done. I'm one and done, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So I don't know, I still want to sort of quarantine as much as I can. I don't even really go outside. I went to Trader Joe's and got sort of like enough food for most of the week last Tuesday. I cooked, and I really, you know, I was working on the show. That's how I, you know, just like got my camera out and started taking pictures and whatnot. But Sunday, the weekend kind of rolls around. The weather got nice. It was raining all last week. It was kind of chilly. So it was easy to kind of cocoon and quarantine and whatnot. But the weather just like got super nice. I mean, it's springtime. It's, you know, it's perfect today. Literally, it's 66 degrees, sunny. It couldn't get any better. So I don't know. I just had to get outside. So I kind of just, I don't know. I was looking at myself in the mirror. I've got my my body length mirror. It's really a beautiful piece over here in the corner. So I set that up. It makes the room seem twice as big. Like the wall is not even there. I had my camera just like, you know, because I typically use it on the tripod. I typically use it on the Manfrotto. God, I really got my money's worth out of this tripod. So I don't have a strap on it or anything, and it occurred to me, this kind of light bulb went off on my head. Oh, I probably have the strap. These things come with straps. And you just think, what's this? I don't need this. Throw this away. This is for dads. The dads with like the camcorder, they use the fucking strap. And it's like, no, I mean, I don't know. I was a little worried. I couldn't fit the camera in my pocket. So I'm thinking, oh, am I just going to be holding this thing the whole time? Like, how am I going to make this work? So I'm like, oh, yes, the strap. I go to my case. Sure enough, I mean, I've got all my equipment. It's all in that case. That case is my axe, you know. It's my horn. And I got headphones. I got batteries. I got little watch batteries. I've got my Tascam. I've got SD cards. You name it, whatever you need. I got my lav mic. Anything for just on-the-go video production. It's a self-contained unit. So I look, sure enough, there's my strap. So I strap it up, I strap it on, And I put it on my shoulder. The very moment I'm putting it on, I look over in the mirror. There I am, fully framed. And it hits me. I'm Peter Parker from Spider-Man cartoon when I was like 10 years old, 10 years old. I loved the fucking Spider-Man cartoon on Saturday morning cartoons. I think it was Fox. They had an X-Men cartoon, they had a Spider-Man cartoon. I loved Spider-Man cartoon. And my favorite toy, it wasn't Spider-Man, it wasn't Green Goblin or any of that shit. It was the fucking Peter Parker toy. Because it was just a dude who kind of looked like me, brown hair. He wore a brown leather jacket. I've talked about this in the show before. Brown leather jacket, jeans, blue jeans. And the accessory, unlike most toys where you get a gun or some kind of like fucking night sled wing, contraption, the Peter Parker accessory was a camera, of course, because he's a photojournalist. Spider-Man. He works for the fucking New York Post or whatever, the New York Daily News. And in addition to being a superhero and having his alter ego, Spider-Man, his masked identity, he's Peter Parker. He's a civilian. He's just a guy with a camera. He's a street photographer. He's he's like fucking Ouija. New York, it's just kind of like, Stanley Kubrick started as a photographer for Life magazine and shit. He just take pictures on the streets of New York. People always want to see New York. There always is a lot to see. So still photography. And so I put the thing on, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, I am Peter Parker. I've become the toy. I've got my accessory, the camera accessory. It's peaceful. It's not a gun or a sword or a lightsaber. It's a fucking camera. It kind of feels like a gun. It makes a cool noise. It makes this, one of the reasons why I like still photography is because it makes this kind of crunchy, like bite, kind of like cut, like a paper, that paper thing you have in fucking art class, that chunk where you cut like construction paper. It feels like you're doing that with like the shutter. There's just like this very satisfying like crunch to it. It almost sounds like a silencer. Your fucking, your shutter kind of feels like a silencer or something. You're like, and it is a gun. It's a barrel. It's very similar. There's plenty of camera gun metaphor, and voyeur kind of. I don't know. It's all, but it's, I don't know. Even though it looks, and it's I don't know. Is it phallic? Is it male gaze? I mean, of course it is, but like. I don't know, just being like a citizen, journalist, pedestrian, peasant, Bill Cunningham, he was doing that shit forever, capturing street style, just walking up and down Fifth Avenue by Central Park, just taking pictures of what people were wearing and like just sort of being a person sifting amongst the populace in the streets. And capturing little moments. Basically, I'm just taking pictures of buildings I like. Because one of the things I'm working on is like, I'm trying to think of like film projects and figure out how to write a film project kind of in a way that works for me. As opposed to like traditional Sid Field screenplay or McKee or whatever. Figuring out how to like, I don't know, it's a visual thing. Why not make a vision board? So going out, I'm sort of taking these walks, thinking about movie, thinking about creating sort of this romantic fantasy world amongst these buildings that once housed this, 100 years ago, Maxwell Bodenheim or E.E. Cummings or whoever. The village was like their village. It was their little mushroom kingdom, And that's long gone. Like I said, it's all these fucking crazy, but the buildings are still there. It's all intermixed and just generic art galleries that aren't like actual real art. Just like, what is this neighborhood now? To some extent, I think you can't help but come up against that because, I mean, the cyber metropolis is all around us. That's another element of this. I think using that as a layer could be fun. rather than just denying it, because it's very much here. So the show can be sort of a social commentary in certain ways, and but also a sort of romantic fantasy milieu of poets and painters and writers and the people you wish were there or who might be there. It's believable they could be. It's credible. I just was going for a walk anyway. I went out on Sunday after my quarantine week. I hadn't been outside since like Tuesday or something, really, more or less. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go out. So I get my camera, I get my strap. The strap just made it perfect because I can sort of keep it by my side, like holstered, and bring it out whenever I want to click, click, click. And I don't, I've got the fucking fold out screen on the side, which for video you kind of need, but this I can just use the viewfinder. So it's very much like an old fashioned camera. I guess that's what a DSLR is built to fucking do, is to imitate. The fact that it does video is just an after effect, really. It was just kind of an accident, or the next step up, like they were making these cameras to imitate film 35 millimeter cameras or whatever, still cameras, and it just so happened to shoot better video than the fucking, camcorder type video cameras that I used. Basically didn't have lenses, didn't have focus or any of that shit. It was all auto. It might have some kind of we cut in camera, I like cutting in camera. Whatever I can do to make the process easier for myself, obviously, and just embrace, like, okay, if this is what the creativity, I'm walking around this neighborhood. Typically I go around with my notebook, right? And I just write down lines that come to me or things that I see. I'm still doing that I'm still writing down lines, but taking a picture, I don't know, it feels like it gives you kind of an objective. It gives you kind of like an activity. I don't know, it kind of animates the field in an interesting way. Like when you're just walking, you have your privacy. You're just sort of an anonymous person amongst all the other people. Everybody's walking around kind of their own public seclusion. There's no like public, like, hey, engage with me, really. Whereas the camera, I don't know, it's like, in one sense, when I'm doing it, I'm like, do people just think I'm a tourist? Like, what could be more fucking touristy than I'm just like taking pictures with my, still camera of like buildings and shit. Oh, it's the Friends apartment building. But it's like, I don't know. I think the buildings are beautiful, and like, I am trying to compile sort of a fantasy for myself as much as anything. Like, I like these buildings. I like the way these streets look. I want to romanticize the place. I want to fully inhabit it. I have this opportunity. I'm taking walks through this neighborhood. I have to walk through it to get to a lot of places, to get to East Village, or because Bleecker and West 4th kind of nicely are slanted. They're diagonal, so they're almost like shortcuts. It's probably why they are that way. It's easier to get from the middle of downtown here up Bleecker and 4th than it is to like go up the grid and then over. Broadway's like that too. It's diagonal, because you're trying to get to the river. One of the things that's interesting about taking these still photographs is you start to see, it's an unobtrusive way to capture little sort of characters or little dramas in the streets. Like I was taking pictures on Bleecker, and I didn't really realize it at the time, but later I saw that there were these two guys that were in my I wasn't taking their picture. I was just taking pictures, and they kind of were in the shot. One of them had a ponytail. They looked like old fogies or something. And the vibe I was getting from them, they were kind of like pointing at the buildings, and like, it seemed to me like maybe they had lived there probably a long time. I don't know. I'm reading my like pop imagination bullshit into it, but like, it seemed to me like they may have been guys that lived there a long time ago when it was, that was going on. and they were like visiting the old neighborhood and sort of talking about it or whatever. So they were kind of they're kind of interesting characters among the landscape. There was a number of examples of that. In one sequence, this guy you can see him walking his dog through a couple different pictures, and like I didn't do that intentionally, but it's kind of nice the way it links the city up, and it's almost like a little cartoon or something. It's an animated sequence. It's not a movie where it's like just a video of these people doing it, but here's a picture, and then he's in this picture, and there's a number of characters in these pictures that I thought were just kind of cool people or look cool. In this one sequence, there's this guy who has pink hair. He was standing out front, or they were standing out front of Smalls, and they just had such a cool look. So part of it is I'm like conceptualizing the milieu. Like part of what I want to film is like a tableau of characters in a sort of a world, and create an ideal where maybe, or sort of a fictionalized version of, I do that in my own life. You have a collection of interesting people that New York is like that. It's just like lineups of things. It's like, here's a bunch of buildings, here's a skyline, here's 8 fucking fabulous people from everywhere, and So in a weird way, unintentionally, the photos have been kind of like inspiration in that way too, where you're seeing, like I was talking about, one of my ideas is this idea of scale in New York. You particularly living in Manhattan, you just get a whole different sense. When you visit here, it's not quite as overwhelming, because you kind of, living in Brooklyn's kind of a relaxing, like homestead. It's horizontal. It's kind of like these low hills. It's kind of rolling. It's just chill. I don't know. The farm kind of agriculture vibe feels way more. Manhattan, you are squeezed everywhere. Every building around you is massive, massively tall. It's not like you just come in on the F train, you're like in it for a couple hours and then you leave. It's like you're surrounded by these epic proportions and this epic scale, and yet you are living in this very kind of like local, like your block, your neighbors, your bodega. You have, I don't know, like New York has become such as an exploited like brand that almost doesn't even exist. I mean, the store, like I go to Trader Joe's. It's a couple blocks from me, but it's not like my local fucking home. I'd like the grocery stores in my neighborhood, like Gristetti's or Fairway, or even, I mean, Western Beef is not really. They don't have anything that you can even eat in there. It's all poison, for the most part. So I can't really go to Western Beef as much as I love Western Beef. And like I want to identify with Western Beef, can't really. I mean, Trader Joe's, what I'm realizing is I'm spending $70 a week, and I basically have a bunch of junk food that's like got vitamin spray on it, and like maybe doesn't have quite as many things that will kill you. Like it's still like chips. I get all these fruit roll-up type, like apple wild berry bars, or apple mango bars, or I got sunflower cups, that's dark chocolate and sunflower seed, but I mean, it's still sugar. It's still just chocolate. It's still just gonna, not be good for anything. I don't know. I'm trying to find the grocery store. For me, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's just like, there's Whole Foods. I mean, especially right now, it's like shopping is just a fucking obstacle course for everybody. But I have been, Lucky's was pretty lucky for me, because I could go after 9, there was almost nobody there. I literally would interact with the fucking like checkout person, and that was it. Here it's like, so today I woke up early because I was going to go to Trader. I went last Tuesday, and they said the best hours. I fucking Googled it. This is probably why everybody was there. Best hours, Tuesday and Wednesday morning before 11. Get there right when they open. It's the best time to go. There's nobody there. So, of course, it's packed. I wake up early. I was like, I'm going to Trader Joe's because I'm getting my vaccine next Monday. I want to go when there's nobody there. So I wake up early. I roll out of bed. I walk fucking 4 flights down. I go 2 blocks. And there's a fucking line to get in at 9 o'clock. But I'm already there, and it's 9 o'clock, so it's like, I'm just going to do this, like, everybody's wearing masks. I'm wearing 2 masks. Like, should I have just left? I don't know. None of the other stores are any better, really. But I was trying to do the right thing. I don't know. I think part of the creative process and just like the lifestyle, the art of living process, and just being in tune with, I don't know, nature, or like, I don't know, the undercurrent of magic. You just need to be so listening to that. And I woke up at 8:48 yesterday, Monday morning, and I was like, well, Trader Joe's opens at 9. Should I just go? And I was like, no, I'll be late, and it's Monday. It's not Tuesday. Tuesday's the least busy. If I go today, I'll get there after they open. There will be people there. So, but secretly my body was telling me, just go today. Just go Monday. And I was like, no, I have this schedule. I'm going to do it right. I was planning to do it Tuesday. It's the best day. So I'll wake up early tomorrow. And doing this is a similar thing. Like Sunday, I went for a walk in Greenwich Village. And it was later in the day because I had been being very soulful and was procrastinating and just being artistic. Just luxuriating in my bohemian leisure and, letting things talk to me. And just being like, oh, okay, well, this is what I'm doing right now. I don't need to like, oh, I've got to shoot this thing, so let's just do it. It's like, okay, I want to go for a walk. I'll take my camera. It just happened very organically. And so in the light, so it was later in the day, so the light was really nice on the buildings. I got some really great shots. So the next day, what do? I try to do the same thing over again. Because I'm thinking, well, it worked so well yesterday. Like today, I'll do it earlier, and it'll be even better. And it was kind of the same thing as the Trader Joe's thing. It was like, I'm glad I did it, but it was like, it was a little more forced, and it was a little, I mean, I don't know. When you're working on things, like at a certain point, you do have to just like get things done. But like, to me, I also have to, kind of my talent or my gift, I don't even know if I could call it that, but like, it's just like allowing things to like be as they are and then figuring out how to use that. Rather than like, okay, well, I've got to go shoot today because I need more, I don't know. It's a mix of both, as I was saying. But yesterday, as I'm taking these pictures, I was having a good time. The light was harder because I went out earlier and it was sunnier. So the sun was higher up, so it was a harsher light. It was harder shadows. It wasn't as nice to be, for still photography kind of, especially. But, I'm also trying to be really safe. I thought because it was Monday, there'd be less people out. I thought on the weekend. Sunday, obviously, was a very relaxing, kind of brunchy day in the West Village with just kind of like, professional, rich people strolling leisurely, just using these streets, all these state school finance people in their workout clothes, going to Intermix. Not that interesting, to look at. They ruin the neighborhood. They make it tacky. It's a beautiful place. It should be occupied by artists. So I want to fill it with imaginary, fictional characters. And I don't know. These pictures are sort of stage sets in a way. I'm trying to create a vision board and a collage of, Greenwich Village of my dreams. I think it inspires that. It's a collage-esque neighborhood. It's big buildings, it's small buildings, it's all the streets. It's cubist, it's fragmented, everything goes every which way. But, I'm basically trying to avoid people more totally. And, but my energy was so lit Because I'm out there, like I said, I'm like the fucking sartorialist, or like, I'm like Humans of New York. I'm a street photographer. I'm a blog, I'm a blogographer, faux bloggrapher. I'm a YouTuber. I want my YouTube to be super aesthetic, and like, I want people to watch it, you know, because it looks nice. And try to make it look nice, and try to be an influencer. I mean, you kind of nailed it when you said it was like a GQ web promo thing from like 2014. That's exactly what I do. That's exactly my, that was my heyday. That was when my magic, I don't know, I guess I need to upgrade. But this is an upgrade, even though it's 10 years old at this point, this look. For me, it's a huge upgrade. So maybe I'm just using yesterday's advertising Mad Men techniques in the service of the DIY shit heel anti-media. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that, but I've got chickens that live across the street. There's chickens clucking. Anytime things get quiet in the apartment, you can hear chickens clucking across the street. Why did the chicken cross 21st Street? to get to the Frankly Fabulous show. So, I'm out taking this walk, and I'm trying to avoid people because I'm getting my shot next Monday. I've got T-minus 6 days. I'm getting the Johnson & Johnson. I'm one and done. So all I got to do, and my mom, I've been talking to my mom more. She's recovering still. She's had COVID, fucking unfortunately, for over 3 weeks. She got it 3 weeks ago Monday. It's Tuesday, so she said she's finally like starting to feel better. But she's like wiped. You know, she's super exhausted. She's very tired. So I'm wishing her a speedy recovery ASAP.